Yo, 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 welcome to First Smoke of the Day. Got another episode today, episode 2. My man Blackleaf.
What up, what up?
And a special guest, that boy, the Gelato Kid.
My guy.
Come on, man. How you doing?
Yeah, sure money.
Yes, sir.
Get it.
In the building.
Live from the trap.
What are you smoking on, man?
To be honest, right now, I think I'm rolling up. I think I mixed some Zito with a little bit of the Z41.
Nah, that's great. Race fuel. The Zheetos is fire.
The Zito's is a special
That's
one.
my favorite one.
Look.
That's a go-to, man. It's ridiculous.
To be honest, it's probably the number one hit right now. As far as my whole menu goes, that's
Gotta be.
I mean, it's deep. You smell it, and you can. It has such a sweetness, and when you squeeze it, it gets even sweeter.
and it has that musty though. Has
It
a little
does.
musty. That's
It
the
does.
cheese.
That cheese.
That's from the cheese.
This is my favorite one. It's complex. That one's awesome.
I was telling him, I was telling Gelato Kid.
Yeah.
I think I told you before. I went to Amsterdam when I was 19. My favorite strain I smoked out there the whole time was Big Buddha cheese.
Yeah,
And it was just, it's because it just had me just, the creative juices flowing, like psychoactive, just everything firing off. So it's cool to see this come full circle, like what, 12 years later
Crazy.
in the Zheetos with OZK.
He's actually from Amsterdam. I want to say the original, the guy who's actually made cheese. It's Big Buddha cheese. It's not just a strain. It's actually a person. It's
Oh,
Big
wow.
Buddha.
Okay.
I actually had the honor of meeting him. He's a really cool guy.
Wow.
And he came out here, I want to say like 3 years ago, and I want to say that's when he brought over whatever they used to cross into the OZ to make the Zheetos.
Oh wow! So it's a long project they've been working on.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh wow,
I've had it for I want to say maybe 2-3 years, but just in the past year, it's ramped up to a whole new level.
Yeah.
You know, the branding has a lot to do with it, the packaging, everything.
and people got to smoke it. You know, it's got to get out there.
And it's one of those ones where, the packaging's nice, but the flour's even nicer.
It's
It
fire.
really is. It
You know what I'm
backs
saying?
it.
You got a lot these days in the market. You got a lot of stuff that's not necessarily the most fire stuff, but with amazing packaging.
Yep.
And and unfortunately, that's the market right now saturated with stuff like that
Yeah.
at the moment.
The rec market's like playing scratch offs.
I mean,
To go get smoked. It's crazy. I give a lot of bags away.
it's funny you say that. That's exact. I love that
Swear to
term.
God.
It's like scratch offs because every bag has this crazy branding, and you get into the mix of it, and you're like, "This is garbage," or okay, out of 20 of them, you're like, "This is the one."
Finally, I got the good facility.
Yeah,
Finally.
definitely.
Finally, that good batch.
You gotta look at the back sticker, like, okay, this is the one I want.
Straight up.
This was the lead grower,
I look
not
at
the
that,
second
too.
facility.
You gotta look at that harvest date. You're like,
Oh,
this
man.
bag's 4 months old.
Right?
I got 0 chance of this.
Yeah, but would you say it's better than it used to be?
Oh, 100.
I know, right?
You
The
kidding me? It
the
was like
flavors
just-
now compared
Yeah, it's
to back
getting way
in the
better
day.
compared to what 3 years ago.
We're starting to get
In the
into
rec market.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
But what do you think even about like let's say 10 years ago or 8 years ago in the market?
I mean, in general, everything's getting better.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, that's what I think so too. It's ridiculous. I mean, even with what's sitting in front of us, right? You got like 3 or 4 ridiculous flavors laid out. And what's dope from coming from a grower is that they're all off the same lineage, right? So I'm looking at like random Skittles offshoot here, a cheese. This is like Skittles times Skittles times Skittles, which, I'm a big fan of that. I mean, it's just epic seeing all the offshoots off of one mom instead of like we're looking at 10 random packs.
Well, if you ask me, there's a couple strains that I would say right now are leading the market as far as, Cookie Fam really created something with all the cookie strains and the sherbets. That's what they made, in my opinion, is a good foundation for a lot of breeders and a lot of growers.
That's smart. Yeah, you're right.
So,
What would you say, like, top 5 bangers that everything's kind of now going to stem from?
as far as what?
Like, what's the future?
Like crosses, like the staples, like obviously the Zheetos,
Skittles.
like Skittles.
Skittles is number one in my
Yeah.
opinion. Everything in my opinion, every breeder out there should make a cross with Skittles.
Bro, my next project is literally doing a Skittles just for to keep everything, not even release it. Just Skittles times everything else that's a keeper just to hold because I got to chase that down. That
100%.
I mean, look, everything that I'm smoking, offshoots of it is amazing.
In my opinion, if you're out here breeding and you haven't made a Skittles cross, you're sleeping.
Even for yourself,
Yes,
not even to
that's what I'm
sell.
saying.
Yeah, you're
Straight
right,
up.
man. You're right.
Just because Skittles, it's in itself is not. It's a great tasting strain.
Yeah. No, it
We're
is.
good.
So
It's a great tasting strain.
yeah.
It's amazing, but the yield and as far as the highness goes,
And it's a weak plant.
The yield, the growth structure, everything
Yeah.
about it is
Brutal. It's brutal. No, even coming from like I have a mom in right now, and the mom's like just getting to the size of something you'd actually want to bloom, and you're like, this is my mom.
It's a finicky plant. I've gifted it to people.
Yeah,
I've gifted Skittles to some of my growers and told them, hey man, can you run this for me? They call me 2-3 months later. Hey bro, that plant you gave me, you sure it wasn't sick? Did it have any pathogens? Did it have anything in it? Because
they don't want to grow it.
This thing doesn't grow. Bro.
Yeah.
You know what? Can I just keep growing the sherbet? Or can I just keep growing the gelato for you? Because this plant right here, this isn't gonna get me any yield.
Bro, it's the most finicky plant I've grown. I would say top 2 or 3 in my whole 18 years running.
I seen pictures of your guys' Skittles. It was amazing.
It was, and it took me 3 runs to get it dialed, and even now, I still have to redial it back in, right? Like to each room. I can't
one of those
just
ones
swing
that
and
I
hit
feel
it.
you can never really dial in.
It's very difficult. It is.
So, but with that being, I think it's a great
foundation
to
insane
use for anything else. You know what I'm saying? So if you got, for example, the gelatos, or you got some strains out there that are very vigorous. If you know, Gelato 41 is a vigorous plant.
Amazing.
So anything else, you put terps in that, you're gonna get something crazy, you know, and that's where I think we're all headed towards right now. Is in the next couple years we're gonna see a whole lot of new terps, a whole lot of new flavors. And you know, I think it's only up from here. If you ask me,
talk about that kamikaze we're smoking right here.
Is that what this is? That's what this is right here.
Yeah,
tell us about it.
The kamikaze, it's a new strain that we've been working on. I want to say maybe for like the past year and a half. It's a Z Cube male that we mixed into the Skittles. Z Cube is, you know, there's a lot of questions around the origins of Z Cube, but as far as what we know of is, we believe it has Skittles times OZ times another Skittles.
Okay.
So they call it like, you know, like 3 times Skittles. So it's Z Cube.
Yeah.
So with that being, it's basically just a crazy Skittles cross right now, and I'm sure you could taste it.
Oh man, and like from what I understand about breeding, when you take something and you back cross it, it starts to bring out the mom and the dad. So whatever mystery Skittles is mom and dad are, right? Like whatever that was and that other one, that starts to come out when you go Skittles times Skittles times Skittles times Skittles, right? You start to get that. Yeah. So I mean, that's amazing, because I'd love to see what the back flavors on that. Like, this is amazing. This tastes great.
Straight candy.
It is. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Is that what that's this one right here?
That's this one, yes.
Yeah. And
the thing about it is, you know, with them Skittles genetics is people mostly always look at all these Skittles strains, the Zetos, the Skittles, the Zushis out there, everything. And they kind of at first glance it's one of those ones where you're like, I don't know if I want to smoke that, you know, because it looks kind of like trashy always. Basic. Like, it doesn't look too special. But when you smell it and you smoke it, it's one of those ones that you're best to just show up to the rotation. Don't even show it around. Just kind of roll it up and let everybody kind of just ask, yo, what are we smoking? Because
I have a crazy theory about Skittles, man. Like, honestly, for creatives like us, people that like, you know, also do branding, also do marketing, also do all these other things that actually tap into other parts of your brain, Skittles is one of the best weeds I've ever smoked that taps into that. Something about like psychoactive cannabinoids, I think, is what it's really tapped into. And when you smoke Skittles, I never get the motivational thoughts. Like the path it leads me down for my creativeness, I swear, I've brought it up to multiple people. I've talked to Pack Gods about it. I've talked to a bunch of people about it, that it really, for creatives, it's like should be sold as that. It should be marketed as like 100%. This is the paint for your paintbrush. I mean,
really
honestly,
it really is.
It really is, though. Like,
that's why I say daytime smoke.
It's not a sleeper.
It's
not a sleeper. It's one of those ones that will have you there just thinking.
Yes, 3 a.m, getting back up to cut more clones or like something. Yeah,
just gotta maybe roll another one.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's my favorite though, of like the gelato and the sunset sherbet and like some of the other ones that have been around. Like Skittles just is so different, man.
It is. It's candy.
Yeah, it is. What of everything else though? What's your next go-to? What's your next one down the line?
As far as smoke wise?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Blue Nerds.
It smells and looks insane.
You know, it's the original Blue Nerds project we did probably like 3 years ago, and there's my strain kind of what I'm known for. My foundation was, I wasn't Sherb Money before. I wasn't.
Okay.
It all came from, I used to grow blue sherbet.
Fire.
Which was my strain. And the blue sherbet was about 2012, 2013, I was gifted a Sunset Sherbet cut.
Okay.
In the Bay Area. And I was told, you know, the whole family thing, do not give it out, do not this, do not that. So
the blue sherbet god will come get you.
No, at the time, no, it was a Sunset Sherbet cut.
Okay.
And so I got the Sunset Sherbet cut, and I can't remember what it was. I think I was moving houses or something, but my point, I had to give it to somebody to hold it for me. So I gave it to one of my buddies, and I said, hey, can you put this, like, you know, throughout those moves, it ended up herming on me. And I ended up with a bunch of seeds.
Okay.
Blue sherbet was one of those seeds.
Yo, how
so it's
at the time you're like, fuck. And now you're like, okay, now we have something.
At the time I was like, yo, you just messed up my cut. Like, yo, what am I gonna do? Like, I had no other option but to, you know, I could have re-vegged it. I could have done this. I could have done that. But at the same time, I had 40, 50 seeds. I was like, let's see what we can do with these seeds. Popped a few of them, and that was one of those was blue sherbet.
Fire, bro. That's amazing.
Which is so that's what people are like, oh, so it's an accidental project. Yeah. I accidentally just came about.
Some of the best stuff, I would not even venture to say some. Most of the best stuff on the market was from accidents.
Yeah, if I'm actually correct, I want to say the Sunset Sherbet was Sherbinsky. You know, shout out to him. He's a great guy. The Sunset Sherbet cut, I believe, was made by accident when it, you know, they were growing cookies in a room, and they had the pink panties. Sunset Sherbet is a cross between
I love pink panties
and cookies.
Yep.
And I think they had like a 1 foot tall plant pink panties in the room or something, and that ended up messing up the whole room. And at the same time, like you said, they were probably all really mad and angry.
Yeah.
But in the end, it ended up you got Sunset Sherbet, which, you know, we're almost 10 years down the line, and it's still one of the hottest strains out. Like, in my opinion,
100%.
It's funny. It always is that one little runt in the corner.
Yeah.
You're like, don't, and you're like, oh, just put it in, you know, and you put it in,
Usually
and then you regret. Yeah. And you're like, oh God, it did the whole room in.
I don't think you're a grower, and I don't think you're a veteran in this game if that has not happened to you. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
we've all messed up our fair share. We
seeded out a whole room. Okay, so we got a room going, right? And we're testing out, we're cranking through seeds at the time. We're finding winners. We had just found Dirty Sprite. We're finding all these crazy winners. So, you know, one slipped past me. We put it in a room, and this plant had gotten huge, and I didn't check the underneath part. You know, it was about 6 feet tall, this one plant. So you're looking at the whole top 5 feet, and it looked great. But that one bottom branch mailed out, and we had a beautiful run. I mean, it was a dime piece run, and the whole, like, forum cookies, a bunch of just really great flavors. And what was crazy is we didn't keep any of the seeds, which, looking back, I'm kind of tripping on.
I'm on the same boat. I've done the same thing.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And I got lucky because one of my, at the time, I think trimmers or workers, like, come 4 or 5 years down the line, I'm talking to one of my buddies, and he's like, oh yeah, you remember you had that seeded run? Hey, he's like, well, I don't know if I was supposed to do this or not. He's like, but I put away some of those seeds. And I'm like, yo, no way. Like, I ended up getting some of those seeds back, and, you know, we found some gems from there. At the time I used to run it. It was an orange sherbet, which we came out, I messed up a room by, I had a buddy of mine. He's like, yo, try this new blueberry cookies. I should have known by the name. It don't even like blueberry cookies. I was like, he's like, try it. So here I go, putting one plant into my room.
Waste some space, I
should have put it in a 4 lighter. I'm putting it in a 28 lighter or something. Mess up the whole room.
Yep.
You know, but like I said, I don't think you're a veteran in this game if you haven't done that.
100%. Battling is part of it, and then getting to the point where you can see the battle coming every time.
Shout out to all the people who make the best of it and end up doing something with those seeds.
Yeah.
You know,
some of the best live resin runs were probably from stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, crazy.
Yeah, we definitely.
Well, I mean,
we ran that whole room.
I know,
and,
right?
And you're right. We didn't keep one fucking.
No, we didn't keep
probably
one
had some fire hash though.
Oh, made great hash. We did a run with critical concentrates. We did a huge run. It was about 70. I mean, huge run of wax, and it was just beautiful. Everything came out phenomenal. But yeah, and he was, so at the time, Pack Gods was like, this weed looks amazing and it's filled with seeds. Like this is, and he was kept explaining to me how good the run was and then that it was still filled with seeds. And I thought maybe there would be a few seeds in every pound. And it turned out to be like every nug was latent with seeds. I mean,
that's when you got those
insane.
That's when you got those pounds that are like the size of a football. And you're like, yo, why is this weed so dense?
Crazy.
But really what it is you got 75% seed weight in there.
That's the problem with the two. It weighs out. But the trimmers ended up calling me.
Yeah.
And we're like, and I was like,
what do we do with this?
Fuck?
Yeah. And it even got past me because I kept feeling a nug. I couldn't. Yeah. That's
the thing. It'll be inside of them too.
Yeah.
Like, and most of the time, like you won't realize that you won't catch it because it's inside. It's not like where you could see them bulging out or nothing like that.
And when shit's
and the weed will look so beautiful.
Yes.
The flowers, everything looks amazing. But the thing about it is you crack it and then sure enough, there it is.
But some of the best stuff.
See, that's a good thing though. Your trimmers caught it because imagine I'm sure it's happened to people where nobody catches it. Then you got an angry consumer. Whoever's consuming it is.
Man, but I honestly think some of the best stuff in the market was from seeds from like problems like that.
Yeah, 100%.
We used to have a seed called Blue Kush in Florida, right? And we used to call it Blue Kush, and it smelled like if you took one of those blue markers and smelled it, the smell like it was like blueberries and Kush. Unbelievable strain. That was a bag seed. Some of the best stuff we grew in Florida was bag seeds at the time back in the day because who was really getting us cuts too? It was all like, was it a lot different out here in Cali?
I mean, out here, I'd say, I'm 28 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I was probably 15 years old and there wasn't access like there is now to cuts. Like,
it's crazy.
What it was you would like you said, you'd have a homie who would have saved a seed from a sack or something. And he'd be like, yo, you remember that kryptonite we smoked on fucking last month? He's like, well, guess what? I found a seed, and you'd grow that. That's where you would get your genetics from. Was from 100%. Your buddies, from your other pothead buddies. There was no Instagram. There was no this. There was no that to find seeds. It was just, hey, who got some seeds for me? And try to find. You'd go to that homie that you knew smoked the fire.
Yep.
To try
out
to
of what
see,
you were smoking.
Hey, I know you smoked the fire. Did you find any seeds in there? And you might get lucky.
We used to hear it crackle, and we'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It got past us. Like we didn't get that. We should have found that one.
Yeah. That's. See, nowadays, even when I, as a plant, it still produces, like you might have a pound, you might have 10 pounds that you might only find one seed in.
Yeah.
And that's not.
Or it might be 9.9 pounds of seeds and
yeah,
one or the other.
But so in that case, I feel like, why not save those seeds?
Yeah.
You can save the genetics, it's a bag seed. As far as I've known from like a lot of my breeder buddies, if you ever get a bag seed from a female, plant, if you get a bag seed from it, it should always be a female. So if you pop that bag seed, it should always be a female.
I've thought that, it could be a herm.
If you pop a bag seed, I'm not saying you can't get a herm because you can.
You're saying no males.
But that means that somewhere down the line it got hit by something.
I could see that.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that means, for example, I had a Skittles bag seed I found maybe like 4 years ago, and I popped it, and it ended up being a male. I asked.
That's trippy.
It ended up being a male.
Okay.
And I asked my buddy, and that's so I thought I had a Skittles male, but my buddy told me, Karma Genetics. That he actually told
shout
me,
out Karma.
Yeah, that's one of the OGs.
Big shout out. Yeah,
one of the OGs in this
man.
game. And he's actually the one who like has advised me and mentored me through all my like. As far as what I know in breeding.
Huge mentor to have. I mean, wow.
He told me, he's like, oh, you don't have a Skittles male. He's like, you have a Skittles hybrid male.
Okay.
That's been hit by something somewhere down the line, because if it's a bad seed, it should be a female, unless, of course you hermied it through some type of maybe environmental problem or anything like that. But
so that got in the mix now? Is that in the mix?
That got lost years ago.
Yeah, I know how that is.
That was one of those ones, the ones that got away.
If it wasn't like that, like you were saying, it was hard to get clones back then. How was it smoking? Like back in the day when you first started smoking, what was around?
Take it back to
first thing I really remember really smoking was Romulan. Romulan was around. White Widow.
Oh, I like White Widow.
As far as, who knows if that's really what we were smoking? For all we know, that's what our local dealer was telling us it was, But I clearly remember most of the weed names back in these days. 2008, 2007. A lot of these weed names were like High Time magazine. I feel like a lot of these dealers would go into
the seeds were probably from High Times,
and I'd see White Rhino, White this, but one of the really first strains that I remember that I really liked, and I actually stole some from my pops, and my pops had some. And
had the fire.
Is that your first? What was your first time smoking weed, or like having an experience with weed?
Yeah,
I want to say I can't remember how old I was, but I remember it was in the 7th grade.
Oh man, you were young.
And my buddy tells me like, hey, like I got some weed. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Cause I just bought some weed. I remember I had like a .2 I bought for like $5 from my friend.
The same day?
Yeah. And my buddy bought a little, like he had like a little point something. And I was like,
somebody was on the move. Somebody was on the hustle.
So
it's about that time.
So we were, I remember he's like, yeah, let's meet up after school. We meet up. We call his older cousin because I remember my buddy's older cousin. You got to always have that older guy in the group who's showing you the ropes. So,
he's the one rolling the blunt or whatever.
100. That's exactly why we called him. That's crazy. You mentioned that.
I already know, man.
He's like, same thing happened to me.
Yeah, I wasn't far off.
So we call this guy's cousin. I was like, so how are we gonna smoke this? He said we're gonna walk to the store.
He said you're gonna get a blunt.
We're outside the store, man. We're outside the little liquor store. We're over here, and I see him walk up to some guy and ask him, "Hey, you think you can get us a Swisher? I forgot my ID at home." Now this guy's only like 17. He don't even if he had his ID, it wouldn't even matter. But we get this. I think it was like a homeless guy or something. We told him, hey, we'll give you a couple bucks, but buy us a Swisher at the time.
So you got the weed, but the hard part was getting the actual Swisher.
Yeah. Getting the part to roll up was the harder part. That's crazy.
Life was different back then.
The part that kills you.
Right?
So then, like, as you said, we got the cousin, and his cousin is the one who came and we're like, hey, well, we don't know how to roll this, man. Like, you're going to have to roll this up for us. And the first thing I can remember is I hit this.
You were smoking in the car or what? You guys went and parked somewhere?
We went to his, you always got to have the older guy. The cousin had the garage to kick it in.
That's dope, man.
You always got to have a homie with the garage.
Definitely got to be able to post up after that.
That's a good first experience smoking. You got somewhere chill to smoke. It wasn't like sketch.
So we're chilling in his garage. Yeah. And this was the cousin who's like, mom was cool in the family and everything. So like we're smoking in the garage and we're kicking it. And I remember I'm like, yo, I don't feel nothing. I don't like this, or I don't know. So we walk across the street. There's a Taco Bell. We're at Taco Bell, and I remember I'm just ordering. I remember at this age I didn't even like Taco Bell, but I'm in there ordering the whole menu, and I'm like, yo, I'm ordering this, I'm ordering that, and I just remembered going back to the house.
So you guys had smoked a whole blunt.
Yeah,
and then you were like, let's go get some food. And you still were like, I'm not high yet.
No, see, in my mind, I'm not high. Because remember, it's like, I don't know what it feels like. I don't know what it's like to be high. So in my mind, I'm just like, this don't work. I get back to the house and I just remember laying on the couch and I crashed for probably about 3 hours. And I was like, I didn't like that. This is not for me. And honestly, I didn't smoke probably for about 2 years after that. Like, I smoked that one time, and after that,
I had a similar experience. In 8th grade.
I didn't smoke it ever again because I didn't like it.
It just wiped you out. And you
just said I was like, this too much. I honestly I thought I wasn't high because again I didn't know what
the old homie needed to come in and say you got to power through it, stay awake, and then we're gonna go get some candy.
Nobody told me what I was gonna feel like. Nobody explained it to me. I just kind of went in like. For all they knew, I don't even remember if I told them it was my first time smoking. For all they knew, I was probably, I was on some big boy, roll that shit up.
Exactly. And you had the same experience. You had the same experience?
Yeah, 8th grade. I didn't smoke again for like 3-4 years.
Wiped you out.
Done. Smoked a full joint. It was a creeper bud. That's what he told me. It was done.
Yeah.
What did you roll up?
But that's how we led up to that story was being... I had like a little 0.2, 0.3 that
was it like trippy considered?
It was Romulan because I remember in these days here in California we already had since 1996 they've had it's been medical here in California.
So indoor.
My pops at the time I didn't even know he was a smoker like that, but my pops had his card. He was full blown pothead. But I thought he smoked weed, but I didn't know he was a full blown pothead.
Right.
So I find a bag, and it's one of those Mylar shiny bags.
Sure Money Senior.
And I've seen, there's that guy. He has a lot to do with it too.
Shout out to that
Pops.
So
family affair.
I remember I found his weed, and I was like, yo, like I seen a Mylar bag, and at the time I thought weed came in a sandwich bag. You know? So I was like, what is this? This ain't weed. And I remember it said Romulan on it, and I was like, well, that must be what this weed is.
Damn, it had a name and everything.
Yeah, it had those little RX sticker.
It was not the same in Florida.
You know, so like that was my first experience. I was like, and even I got a couple people who were like, man, I smoked, Reggie for my first time. Like,
100%.
You had some fire for your first. No wonder you went to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I'm not high. Well, you went past high and came back around. Yeah, no, it's a whole different experience. I think the first weed I saw was 90% sticks and stems, and then there was like weed peppered in the middle of some state. Like it was crazy.
Into the.
Oh yeah, it was like if there was an ounce, there was 3/4 of an ounce. It was just sticks and stems, and then there was some weed. Maybe my dad already picked through it, but it was wild looking.
It's funny that you guys both found it from your pops.
Oh yeah, my dad isn't even a cowboy, right? And he had a cowboy hat, so I knew something was suspect, and it was flipped upside down. And you reach up inside of it, and you pull out this bag, and it was a bag of dark green, like Reggie with just sticks and stems. And honestly, I didn't even try it at first. I picked it out and I sold some of it. But other than that, later in life, honestly, my first time smoking was in college. So we talked about that before, but man, it was similar to you. I had the big homies kind of coaching me through it,
Yeah, and then once I want to say that was like in the 7th grade, I didn't smoke again.
You started young.
Probably till like the 9th. Nah, like probably like the 10th grade, I really, really got into smoking.
And what was that like? Like, I mean, you came right back. All the homies were doing it. All your friends.
Well, that's what it was. It was kind of like that age. In the 7th grade, a lot of people weren't really smoking weed.
No, I was like, wow.
So it was like it was just me and like 2 other guys, but they were kind of picking it up from like they had older brothers. And stuff. I didn't have no older brothers, so like I kind of just was picking it up because along the way, like I'm 8 years old and my dad's watching a pothead movie. He's watching Cheech and Chong in the house, and I'm like,
that's dope.
And when I'm a little kid watching this, like, well, I guess this is cool. Yeah. So like it was kind of like, born into me, which is crazier. My son's born on 420. So it's like people are like, hey, are you gonna want your son to smoke when he gets older? Like, what's your thoughts on that? Like, when he's an adult, are you gonna want him to smoke? I'm like, well, I mean, when he's an adult, it's his decision. But what do you think? Look at his pops, and his birthday's on 420. So I'll let you choose that. Yeah. Like, what do you think? Is your thought on that? So it's kind of like been in the family thing. Like, I come from my pop's a big pothead. To be honest, that's the first person I ever grew with.
Oh wow, that's cool, pops. Man.
So like,
that's different. That's super legendary.
Cool. I was 18 years old. I went to jail because I got caught with something small, some type of little small thing. I went to jail. Allegedly I was, they tried to tell me I was doing this, I was doing that. I was like, man, I'm just a kid that was smoking weed, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not
haters.
So after I got out, I don't even think I went to jail, to be honest. It was just like a little ticket or something. But my pops got wind of this.
Yeah, and was like,
and he calls me and he's like, hey,
I had to keep it real with you.
He's like, I'm gonna get you off the streets. He's like, come here. I got thrown in at the time. He was he was growing a lot. He was doing this thing, and at the time, I kind of just got thrown into a grow, and he was like, here, take care of it.
Wow.
And it's kind of like, and it was kind of like
responsibility,
and it was kind of like one of those things that was, how do you say? It was just scary, man. I'm 18 years old. I never done anything, and there was no rule book in those days how to grow weed or this or that. You couldn't just look it up or nothing.
Nah.
So, and
just even seeing plants inside under lights and with water. And
to be honest, he threw me in there and never taught me.
Oh,
I think he just thought I think he just like
threw you in the deep end.
I think he just thought he thought I knew. He's like,
we're gonna figure this out together.
No, he knew what he was doing.
Oh, okay.
But I think he was kind of just, I don't know. To be honest, to this day, I want to ask him, hey, what were you thinking? Throwing me in there, like. But you know, I
How'd it go?
He knew you were the Gelato Kid. I mean,
it went terrible. How did
Yeah,
it go?
yeah,
It went
yeah.
I'm 18 years old. That's a big
It's a
responsibility.
rough start for advanced growers sometimes in new spots.
That was it was definitely not a fun time in my life. You know,
Yeah.
I'm 18 years old. I got all my friends going to parties. Hey, bro, you want to go party? Nah, I got a water.
Oh,
You know.
that's crazy.
So
you
it
remember
was,
what you were growing?
at the time, I remember one of the first things. It was green crack
Okay.
Indoor?
indoor. Yeah, green crack
Damn.
and blue dream.
Yep.
Let's bring that back.
Yeah,
Green
right.
crack cross indoor.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was green crack, and you know nowadays people talk a lot of shit about the blue dreams.
No, but
and
that was
this
probably when
and
it
that.
blew it out.
started. I mean, you guys were probably
yes,
right when it was
But around
hitting.
this time, I think like Juicy J had an album.
Yeah.
That was like Blue Dream
And Green Crack.
Yeah, that was like Blue Dream and something and
Blue
like
Dream and Lean.
yeah, that's what it was. This is like 2010. Yeah, this is like 2010 and
That shit was
and Blue Dream was
Yeah.
popping at the time, bro.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and come 10 years later, it's like, oh, you got Blue Dream. Like,
He did a tour with that. I remember.
Yeah.
We saw him on tour.
so it's just like
Kelly, bro.
we were doing Blue Dream, Green Crack, a lot of Granddaddy. This is when Granddaddy was really in the scene. Granddaddy Purple and
Oh man, I
in the
love
Bay.
Granddaddy.
You know, I grew up in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
I'm not really from the LA. LA came a lot later on. But
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay.
I'm from the Bay Area, and out there was just Purple, Granddaddy
Yeah.
Purple Urkel.
What years?
This is like I want to say 2008, 2010.
Oh man, and she was just popping off perps.
Yeah, it was just Perps.
Oh, I love perps. Granddaddy was like,
The Bay Area was
Oh.
Purple. LA was OG.
really?
You know, like if
LA,
you wanted
yeah.
to smoke good OG, like in
And
the-
what was more like at the time? What was more coveted? What was
In the-
higher up, more
in the-
expensive?
I want to say
Purple.
if everywhere
Right.
if you went everywhere else, the Purple was kind of like doing its
More
thing.
exotic.
But once the OG kind of like
I used to hear crazy shit.
once the OG kind of made its way up to the Bay Area, it was even having us like, yo, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like,
And I mean, coming from smoking perps, which I love perps, but smoking OG, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is like being hot for the first time again.
I was like, yo, what is
Super
this? Like,
strong.
it was one of
Yeah.
those things like, and we just smoked so much Purple, and it was just Purple this and Purple that.
Yeah.
Like, everything was that, you know, it became bland at a point.
It's
Like,
funny how there's almost a line, right? Because we're from Florida originally. So like there's like a line where like San Fran and up in the Bay, I mean, they grow different flavors than LA does.
100%.
And it's
Totally
interesting,
different.
even though you're in the same state where, I mean, I don't think it's like that in other places, but it's such a big state, obviously, that's different. But it's cool because you can go to the Bay and it's a different palate.
I don't think in the Bay Area these days you'll find anybody growing OG.
Yeah, right?
Down here,
What about LA?
You still
Not
see it
even-
here.
in LA, you'll still find people growing
Elephants
OG.
crushes it.
Elephants growth OG is phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Like,
Anybody else that you're smoking on OG wise that you're like, this is the one?
As far as
Not a lot of people growing it these days.
I mean, Cali Kush Farms. There's some of my buddies here,
Okay.
here in town in LA, and to be honest, they kill it. They've been killing the OG game for, I want to say 20 years or more.
OGs with Karma and all those guys.
And,
I mean,
and you know they're tied in with as far as like all the Karma genetics.
yeah.
And they're really cool with the OG story.
Yeah. The original OGs.
Yeah, which is like the original. I've
Yep.
you know I've met him too. Great guy.
Okay.
And
Josh D.
yeah,
and then
Josh
there's
D.
OG
That's it. Yeah,
Story.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the
Josh
whole.
Josh D's really cool dude. I met him when I want to say like 2 years ago. He was out in Seattle, I think, doing some like rec stuff out there for his brand. And
They're in Florida now, I think.
is he?
Yeah, I think they're doing some stuff in Florida.
I kind of lost track of him for a while.
The
But
branding deals.
I remember he was in and at the time I met him here in LA because he was coming back out here to he was bringing his brand back, you know, because he got a story to be told.
Yeah.
you know? So he's kind of bringing it back.
It's
and
funny
he's
like that now. The original guys like have a
kinda
story to
coming out
tell.
the hiding because back in
Yeah.
back in their days in the 90s there was no publicly talking about it. If anything, you were trying to
No.
hide. The better you hit it was the better, you know.
Yes.
You were competing with who's hiding it better.
Yeah,
you know?
I was early 2000s, and even then, like, well, you know, I started growing in 02, 2002 in Florida, and even then, like, they're 90s, I'm 02, and even then, it was like way down low. I mean, it was so different than it is now.
You know what I'm saying? Like there
Yeah.
was no you're going to the height. I see people riding around these days and they got lights in the back of their trucks. And
Crazy.
Stuff, like,
Bro,
you know?
I saw somebody power washing. Like, you know how you go see you wash your car, you know, in the spray ports, you know, and the guys out there spraying. They had a twister trim machine, and they're in the back of a truck spray washing a twister trim at like 7 a.m. I'm going to work, and I'm like, oh, that's a twister. And the guy's up on the back of his truck spraying it down with like a power washer, like you would wash your truck.
It was probably rented.
I was like, welcome to
California. That rent those.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, right?
Yeah, people rent those.
It's got to be back by 9.
Yeah.
You got to go. Oh, man. They're like, you're like, just go wash it somewhere.
Yo, we moved out here.
Yeah.
And that was one of the dumb purchases we bought. What company was that?
No, we bought a
Mean Green.
Yeah, Mean Green trimming machine. Because it was just me and him.
Shout out to them.
Well, we were nervous
straight up
about like, how are we going to find this many trimmers? And we have to get through and right off rip too. Like, we need a buffer to find some people. We need a cut. So let's get this trim machine. It'll get us through a few harvests. And in the meantime, let's figure out what we're going to. And the thing was the biggest bunk. I mean, huge paperweight. I mean, what would you even say? We should have done it.
Did you end up having to retrim it?
No, like it
worked one time.
It worked one time, and then it was like a computer chip,
and it still was not great.
That failed. And this guy must have sent us 5-6.
I spent months
chips.
trying to fuck with this thing.
Maybe a year.
Yeah,
and it still didn't work.
The thing was like 12 or 14 grand.
So
it's supposed to be the laser edge trimmer.
The dude stopped answering us.
China's finest.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we got.
Yeah. I should have done a viral video and kicked it off the roof of the building or something.
Yeah, we should.
I mean, you know.
What do we do with that?
It's a paperweight in my garage, I think. I mean, who even knows? That's
video coming.
$14,000 trimming machine.
Video
Here we go.
coming
Yeah,
soon.
viral video coming. Crazy, bro. But I mean, that's just like you said with the seeds. It's kind of like growing is that, right? You're going through spending like. That's what the suits don't understand. How much money have you spent jumping through hoops to get to finally the answer, right? Like, it took me a decade of spending my own money and spending my own time to figure out, oh, this is exactly how I'm going to do it, right? Like, this is how I grow now. These are the strength, like
trials and tribulations.
Exactly. But a lot of people don't see that. You know, they come in at the end and they want to be like, wow, your marketing and branding is on point. And you're like, well, yeah, 10 years in the Bay, you know, you know how to pinpoint flavors and to lay something out.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
And with that, like, even as far as when you're mentioning that, the packaging and all that,
huge,
and that's why I feel like
look at the Rolex box.
As far as my brand goes, as far as my customer base, fan base, as far as any of that goes, I think packaging has a huge part to do with it. Because
it's as important as the product inside.
It's, for example, you know, you buy a nice Gucci sweater or a nice Louis Vuitton sweater, you get that nice orange Louis box, and you're looking forward to that. You know, like, that's almost like when you're looking at that orange box, you know you're gonna get something nice. Yeah. You know, so it's like
people collect those.
When you got a nice packaging, nice this, I feel like people are always just gonna go to it. The eye is, you know. The eye's a magnet to you get colorful things and that.
Well, you see that before you see the flower a lot of times.
100%. But then again, like I mentioned before, you gotta either match the quality of your bag or have better. You know, you can't have trash weed inside nice packaging. You know,
exactly.
Which like we mentioned earlier, the streets, the stores everywhere is flooded with trash weed inside nice packaging, and it's sad because the consumers still buy it. Yeah, because they still like.
When they lose hope,
you know, they lose
hope sometimes.
They still get got to this day, you know. Like,
well, when you're putting crappy weed in grape, you can even go over the top with the packaging because your margins are there, you know, so you can really go ham on the packaging. Yeah. And so you're coming to the table with some amazing packaging, and they're going even more over the top. Now it's about what's inside, you know, and word of mouth, and that's been huge for you. I mean, that's huge for a lot of us coming from this market.
We really got, I want to say, really known, you know, back in the day, 2016, 2015, there was these shows, you know.
Yeah.
All the High Times shows, all this stuff. Shout out to High Times. They had Chalice.
Emerald Cup.
Bro, those were some of the funnest times.
Great times.
I wish we could still do that. It was like you got to meet everybody. Like,
the networking was amazing.
That was some of the best times.
It's like putting a face to an Instagram name or online name,
bro,
whatever.
I promise you there was a time, I'm sorry, High Times, man. I'm sorry I did you guys like this, but there was a time where I literally just, I seen a stack of tables, bro. I seen a stack of chairs, and I was like, I told my boy, hey, grab one side of the table. We gonna put this thing right here.
Oh, nice.
And I just set up a booth, bro.
Yeah.
I had a couple little jars on me. I set it up. What, bro? Like,
yep.
I met so many people that were like,
that was the beginning almost in the sense of like for us, you know,
like the shows had a crazy part in back in the day. Nowadays, I think people focus a lot more on social media and stuff like that because there is no shows like that.
But then you couldn't fake it. I can stand at your booth and I'm looking right at your product. No matter what your Instagram looks like, no matter what your, show is, I'm looking at the product. I can even go buy some, smoke it, and come right back and talk to you about it.
You might find some people that, some hidden gems in there.
Oh, that was my favorite part. I'm finding growers that, are from Arkansas who grew up in Arkansas, moved out to Cali a year ago. And hey man, this is my strain I've been growing for 10 years and from Arkansas. And I was like, this is amazing because I'm from Florida and this guy's from here and this guy's from there. And as a grower, that's my favorite part.
I think the grower community has a lot of people have definitely came from other states to California.
Yeah. That's what I'm missing right now. I wish they would get back to that.
What do you think about the shows in Cali? And
I miss them.
Will that start popping again?
I miss them.
I mean,
and if so, will we see Sure Money? Will we see Black Leaf?
I mean,
these shows
right now, everything's so tough with all these restrictions that we got going on.
Yeah.
So who knows until when that will even be a topic,
Right.
But culture,
the community, with those shows, that's where I met a lot of people. Like a lot of the big names would meet there. I
looked up to it for months.
Well, I would, exactly.
I looked up to it for months. I was like, this big show.
It was over, and it was like, when's the next one?
Yeah.
When's the next one gonna be? And it was almost like you had to say bye to all your buddies and stuff. And hey, I'll see you on the next one.
So much work too. You were like, we would stress out. It'd be like a whole ordeal.
Oh my God.
And you'd
At
be
the
like,
end, I wouldn't be like, where's the next one?
No.
I'd be like, yo, I'm taking a week.
Yeah. I love it. I enjoyed them.
Breathe.
I used to honestly too.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a lot of work.
It was my only time I could go buy seeds. I got to meet guys, other hash make. We worked collabs at those times. Like we were able to do all the cool stuff. We would literally be like, hey, let's work our next collab with this company that's right here. Let's go talk to them.
Exactly. I think that's how I did a few collabs with Canorado.
Oh, that's fire.
I think that's how I did a few collabs
wow,
with him.
The breeder?
Yeah.
Oh, that's huge.
I did a few projects with him too. And,
man, shout out Canorado.
Yeah, he goes
shout out
crazy.
to him.
One of the biggest breeders in the game.
And this was probably like 2 years ago. And
that's a huge collab.
I met him there.
What'd you guys do?
I want to say at the time he was doing his Great Pie line because Canorado works.
Fire.
Canorado works because he does everything by lines.
Yeah.
So he'll do like,
I bought a bunch of that.
He'll do like 10 crosses crossed with the apple or whatever, sour apple. He'll do 10 times biscotti, try this. And what he does is, you get a bunch of flavors crossed with whatever he reversed or whatever pollen he's using. And
Gushers.
So I think I hopped on the Great Pie, which we did the Sherberi pie, which was blue sherbet times Great Pie.
Fire.
And that was the Sherberi pie. And that was a nice one. I can't remember at the moment what else we did. I also send them
so he took your blue sherb though and then put it in his lineup and pollinated it.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So he just, he let me hop on his project another way.
Oh, that's killer though.
Dope, though.
Because now he's able to put out something and we're able to, as consumers, to buy seeds from something we'd never be able to get because not a lot of growers are willing to give up that strain to a breeder to, pollinate.
And the crazy thing is he actually reached out to me because I didn't actually give him the blue sherbet cut.
Oh, okay.
He got it from a buddy of his. But he wanted to reach out to me before he actually went.
Get the thumbs up.
Yeah,
fire,
basically.
That's good business.
So that was actually, I gave him huge credit for that. I was like, that's dope. Instead of him just going out and just doing it, he actually hit me up and I was like,
even to do his research and be like, okay, I need to, that's huge.
I think his buddy probably gave him my Instagram or something and he just went out his way. And just the fact that he went out his way to even, reach out to me was
solid guy.
Yeah, pretty dope. So shout out to him.
That's cool. That's an awesome project. What's coming up then? What do you got bubbling for the next year?
Talk about like K-Zheetos and how that came to life.
Wow.
I mean, to be honest, like
I'm fucking with that. Like,
Zito's
it's probably my top 5 right now.
The Zito's is my partner strain. He's the Karma Cartel.
Zito,
which he's actually like a branch off of the Cali Kush Farms Karma Genetics thing, but it's more of like their I would say new era,
right?
You know, because if you're familiar with the whole Karma Genetics and all that, they're kind of
OG sours.
Yeah, you know, they kind of work a certain and
hazes,
and they kind of just work those lines.
Yep.
And that's kind of like what they do and what they're known for. So it'd be kind of out of the ordinary for them to start doing cookie crosses.
Yeah, but they're pivoting now. They're pivoting, and
they are definitely Karma. You know, we got them a Skittles. We got
that's what they needed.
We got them a Skittles. We got them a few of.
That's what they were smoking on.
Yeah, we got them a few of these newer age flowers, and we got those out to him because he's in the Netherlands, I believe.
Oh wow.
We got these cuts out to him, and you know, we let him do his thing, and.
Man, that's huge. That's big on you guys, man.
Yeah, no,
so he was able to get legit cuts, source cuts.
Exactly.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, and especially a guy of his caliber, like people kind of like respect him a lot. And if you tell him it's for him and he's doing his thing with it, like you'd kind of be going against the grain to not give him.
So all those projects he's putting out from over there that says sours and all, and that Skittles and melons I see. So that's all straight legit cuts sourced from Cali.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh man, that's huge because coming from a consumer, I always wonder.
He would come out here
about everything.
No, I'm saying like about 2 years
and
ago,
source things.
He would come out here, source, talk to other big breeders.
That's what you got to do when you're at the head.
He'd bring seeds and come do his thing. Unfortunately, I think he got sick or something. I'm not sure, but he had some type of thing that wasn't allowing him to just
travel freely,
get up and travel freely, you know. So we started just, you know,
making sure he got what he needed.
Yeah, and
excellent.
He's still doing his thing, man.
I mean, that's so awesome. Important for a guy like that, and now he's got legit stuff to work with. So as a consumer,
yeah, and
you know,
I want to say
fire.
He's happy to try to. He's just the guy that he loves good weed, man, and he likes to make people happy, and he's just happy to bring in these new strains with some of his old strains.
So is some of this right in front of us from him? Is some of this some of his work, or is this other people's work? The stuff that's right in front of us right now.
A lot of this is other people's work, but I believe like the Zito's that he had part in doing.
Man, beautiful.
Which that's what I was saying with the. With the Zito.
You blowing up. You blowing up, man. That's blowing up, kid. Kid,
yeah, just know. I mean, we got people on this podcast, you know, in the mix.
That's how the Zito's convo came up right now.
Zito's is beautiful, man.
I think
so unique.
They had an OZ Kush, and it was really like amazing. It was a really amazing cut, and I think I want to say he hit it with the cheese, and man, it's just.
Big Buddha cheese.
It's crazy because
a lot of people. This cut needs to float around the market or find its way to a price tag.
Oh, believe me, believe me, they're on it.
Oh man,
that's gonna.
What's up with the clone drop of that?
Look out for that in the next future in the rec market.
No, it's beautiful, man.
He's really working on it.
It's like Skittles. It's like a Skittles remix. It's just as good, if not better.
It's like
a remix that like
it's upgraded in my point. It's like Skittles on.
It's a Sprite remix.
Well, like it's a remix that like no one else is really gonna be able to fuck with. Like,
it's very unique. Like, it's very unique.
Terpene profile is just like I don't know. And it did something to Skittles that I didn't think could be done. Really.
Exactly. Honestly, it brought out a funk to it.
It brought out a funk, exactly.
Yeah,
like
it
I
did.
Said, that's the way I explain to people. When I go, what would you explain it as? It's a funky Skittles.
Yeah.
But I won't lie, man. The blue nerds here, like I'm a big fan of that smell, and it reminds me. It walks down the path of a runts or a lemon cherry gelato. But
100%.
Some of my favorite smoke right now is that. I mean, it's got that smooth, sweet, also powerful. You know.
Yeah. Well, 100%. I mean, if you want me to. I'm probably gonna get in trouble by all the street guys for this, but if you want me to be honest,
don't give them too much. Don't give them too much.
You know,
bits and pieces.
You have to charge them.
70% of these bags in these days on the streets is a lemon cherry gelato or a runts in a bag.
Yep.
You know, like so.
100%.
Talk about run style because, like, I'll be honest. Oh,
Yeah.
it's just the runts and everything they're doing
Took over the market for a while.
I didn't really think they could take that further into where they had already took it. And to be honest with you, I tried some of their newest stuff and like
What'd
I
you
was
think?
surprised.
Yeah, really?
And it's like candy, and it's
Wow,
like going
okay.
into a sense of an opposite direction of Skittles, which I would say is more of a perp type of.
So they're doing their own
candy
thing.
vibe. Yeah, they got whatever they're back crossing and however they're whichever way they're going.
Yeah.
Is much different.
I like that.
Then-
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
They're opening a shop. I saw they got like
Yeah, I
a
went to
jokes
the-
up shop. I mean, they're definitely
pop up on.
they're
420.
moving their own way.
It's
It's
definitely
awesome
different.
to see.
100%.
I hope everybody does their own lane. I'd love to see that. It creates a lot of originality.
And to see what's going to come from all of
They
that.
definitely set a whole new wave as far as branding went. You know, in,
Yeah,
in my
100%.
opinion, like they killed it.
Especially in the hip hop, like that. I mean, it just took over every music video, every song. I mean, it was
they set
crazy.
their target and they reached it and above, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, like they completely killed it.
Oh, I mean, I was hunting down the strain.
The flour is great.
Yes.
You know, the flour is great when grown right. It's amazing flour.
Yep.
If you can get the real one, because as we all know, there's tons of.
I
fake
grow like
runs.
3 of them.
You know,
They're all runs.
You know, if you
Yeah.
can get the real one, your hands
Yeah.
on the real one, it's amazing.
That's what I'm saying too, is that you see so many runs cuts or strains or whatever called runs floating around. But when I get it from them, honest to God, I haven't had it like that.
Yeah.
Like anywhere else.
It's
So I do got to give them that, because I've tried and they sell these strain contracts and they sell them. You know what I mean?
saw
that's
that.
another thing. So
Crazy.
it's like
Yeah.
they're putting people on, and
Yeah,
through
they're
them, they're
real
letting them
different.
have their own like sub brand under the
Yeah.
Runts label.
Yeah.
Which is really smart. And then so all those strains that they give those people that they, the people buy them, I'm trying them. I go to the different booths, like whatever, supported them on the 420 show.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest. I think it was like Supreme Yoshi. And, and
They got cool bags.
It's like
dude,
a
the
cosign.
bags are on point, but I will say when I rolled that shit up, I was like, wow,
Really, it
Yeah.
burned right and everything.
It burned right. Everything.
See,
was
it's like
on
a
point.
it's like the music industry almost how they're approaching it. It's like they co-signing with features. They're like, we'll put you on, we'll co-sign. We're
sign
next to
under the
you.
label.
We'll make sure you got the right, beats, the right producer, aka the right song. I mean, the right
You're
product.
signed to Run TNT.
No, for real
Straight
though.
up, though.
Because look at they make sure you got the right strain, right? They're selling strains. That's
You
part
get
of it.
access to all their catalog then too.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It's gonna other brands are gonna fall in that scope, and that's the start of it, right? In the end of this, other states are going to look to California and they're going to say, who are these big brands that we want in Florida, that we want in Georgia, that we want in New
Jersey.
York,
100%.
Jersey. I mean, you name the place, Alaska. I mean, anyway, even other countries. And they're going to want branding deals where they say like what strains and what makes up Sure Money, like, hey, we want your branding and your the top 10 strains and we want
It's
you
almost
to,
like they want your resume.
100, they want you to run the company.
They need the catalog.
But
that's how I mean, I had to come
100%.
through and get the catalog.
Yeah.
People are
Yeah.
laying down that footprint. Look at Backpack Boys. I mean, they're crushing branding.
Shout out to that man.
I mean,
He's killing it.
And you're
Killing it.
branding is so important when you have product to follow through.
100%.
I mean, it's the icing on the
Branding,
cake.
packaging, it's all under the same umbrella, like
shout out to Backpack.
That
'cause,
obviously that started not too long ago though.
they're,
out
they're
here.
showing
Bro, they-
possibilities in this game.
I want to
quickly.
say in
Yeah.
2 years he completely killed it. Like I
Shot
mean,
out.
I've known them.
yes.
I've known them for years.
Yeah.
I've known them for years, and they were doing their thing locally up there in the Bay and everything, and they were well known in the shows and everything. But I want to say he came to LA like 2 years ago, bro, and just
turned it up.
What do you think the
Turned it
game
up.
changer of that was? The LA move.
the bags? The bags.
Yeah, the
bro.
branding out.
the branding.
Yeah.
in LA, there's so much more access. The way I look at it is when you're up in those areas, like,
Yeah.
Similar for you.
We don't have these huge warehouses like
Yeah.
there is down here in LA. Like,
Yeah. Interesting.
down here there's these huge warehouses everywhere.
City.
Everywhere you look, there's warehouses. So you got all these
Boxland,
growers,
baby.
So you got all
You
these
drive
growers.
downtown and you look left to right and you're like,
don't
that's a
think it.
grow. That's a grow.
100
You think that's a grow?
Yeah.
That's another grow. You think that's a grow?
Hey, I thought I was the only one that did that.
Oh, I do that every time I drive down there. I'm like, that's got to be a grow. And then I look to the left and I'm like, I think that's probably a grow too. Or that would be a nice grow.
It's not a grow. It's a distro.
Or it would be a good grow. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not a grow. It's a
Crazy.
district. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a grow. It's a district.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. But that definitely, he crushed it when he made that move, and I think he linked up with like the 5 Point guys and like a couple other like
A lot of people move through LA even more than the Bay. The Bay has this amazing vibe and this niche, but I feel like
100%.
LA gets that traffic.
If you want to turn your brand up and if you want to take it to the next level, you got to come to LA. Why? Because the whole world follows Hollywood. Everybody wants to do what Hollywood wants to be doing.
Man, I came up in 2002 and the big question for my crew, and we were segregated. We were so niched out from everybody. We used to always have harvest and we'd be sitting in front of our flower. And one of the things that used to come up was like, how you think this compares to Cali? How you think? Because we knew we were getting the tail end of stuff, or we were getting stuff from BC at the time. That's where a lot of product, it was all BC bud. 100%. So we couldn't get really Cali in 2002. BC bud. Exactly. But we're like trying to figure out like, is our best as good as Cali, or are they on a different? And so even coming up, that was already ingrained in us. I mean, it was already like there. That's the Mecca. And you know, that's where you need to be if you want to be in the place where it's like the vein. We're in the heartland of cannabis.
100%.
I mean, that's why we're here. You grew up out here?
No, I actually grew up in up north I grew up in the Bay Area.
Oh, so you were seeing flavors.
Yeah, I grew up in the Bay Area, and then more towards my adult, like when I turned 18.
Yeah.
I grew up in a small town. It's called Modesto.
It's
like the middle of nowhere.
I've met some growers from Modesto.
That's in my opinion. Look, there's nothing to do but get in trouble. There's people who gangbang and I wasn't trying to go that route. So
you started growing weed.
You know, I was growing weed.
Pops threw you in, boy.
You know, so you're either a pothead or you're out there like, because there's nothing.
You made a good move
because there's nothing to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which so it's just either you're gonna be causing trouble, or you're gonna lay low and
kind of cheese.
So
and get up out of there.
That's
the whole point.
Yeah, that's
you have to stick around.
So that's kind of what I did. I was just out there. And
then, exactly.
A couple years later,
but you're still holding the city down.
A couple years later, I started coming out here to LA, and that's when I really like.
And that leads to now. I mean, now's the time.
That's really what turned up my whole vision, my whole everything. Like, it opened my eyes. Like, okay, this is what I want to do, and that's what led to Sherb Money, the brand. Was because, like I said at the time, I was growing blue sherbet, which was my main thing that I was growing for years. And to this day, like it's one of my favorite strains to smoke. And I was growing that, and it was kind of like, I remember one day I'm kind of chilling with my boy, and we're smoking a blunt, and he's telling me, "Yo, we're out here selling like." We just got rid of all this blue sherbet, man. Like, we're getting this Sherb Money right now.
I love it. I love it.
That's where it came from. That's like, people ask me, "Oh, where's the brand come from? What did you like? How did you originate it?" Like, to be honest, like, it was just me and my boy.
That's original.
And we're just chilling, and he's like, "Hey, man, we out here getting this Sherb money, baby."
I love it.
So that kind of like,
yeah, man.
And that kind of led to, as far as the vision, opening my eyes and everything, like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to run with.
Yep.
And because obviously, you could only do so much with one strain.
Yeah.
And though I was known for that, and I'll never regret it.
Man, that's the opening to a music video. Getting that Sherb Money. I love it, dude.
So like
Sherb Money Records.
Yeah.
So we took that to the next step, and that's when I was like, "Yo, well, we can make this into a brand." At first, it started up with like, maybe we should do some clothing with it.
Yeah, it always starts there.
And I think I did like some hoodies and like just some some stuff.
Some shit for you guys, or some shit you guys sold?
No, I ran. I think like the minimum I could run was like 40 of each item.
Ooh, they hit you with that. No 24s.
Yeah. Okay. So it was like, no, because I was trying to get like, I was from the beginning, I knew I wanted to do high quality stuff.
Smart.
So I never wanted to run with any of the cheap sweaters, any of the cheap print and everything. So I told him, I was like, hey, I need the good sweater. I need the best print. I need everything, So from the beginning, we were aiming at a high quality consumer.
That's dope, man.
So I remember I went to a show, I think, and I'm selling my sweaters, and they sell out in like a day. And I'm like, yo, like, we're onto something right here.
The
like,
Sherb Money.
Like, people really like, and that's when I want to say, at the time, I want to say Lemon Tree was the only people that were branding really tough.
I smoked so much Lemon Tree.
They did the jars. Oh. They did the jars, the eighth jars.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, they were doing the packages of wax, bro. And I'm buying greenhouse wax for $60 a half gram or some shit.
I remember that.
And I'm smoking it through. It was amazing. It was like
a great
Skittles.
strain. Yeah, it was a lemon tree's a great
Fire.
strain. Yeah,
I wish it grows horribly though.
Yeah, it grows horribly, but when depends when you get a good one. I've had a really good one too.
I need that good one.
Yeah. But it is very slow. It grows.
I miss that flavor though. I like a lemon.
But yeah,
it's crazy because orange is such a different push, and people don't vibe with orange as much as they do lemon. Like this is more of a lemon Skittles, lemon this, lemon that. I'll take that 10 times over orange.
But a lot of people also confuse the lemons with like hazes and other.
It gets a little jacky if people push it that way, like, and you gotta. Yeah, that's the hard part. Lemon without jack, zero jack, 100% lemon.
You know, because I've had lemon. I have had people bring me lemon strains, and I'm like, jack. Yo, this is jack.
Nah,
like,
J1 or whatever. Oh no, take that out of here.
Can't be that.
Nah, we're good on that.
Yeah, that's 2000.
Let's breed that out. Let's breed that out.
You know what I'm really fucking with on the lemon shit is Mr. Kensington.
What is it?
415.
The lemon up.
The lemon up. Bro.
I haven't had that. I got.
I had a little jar.
Mr.
Cushington.
Cushington. Okay, yeah. Lemon up.
Shout out to that boy.
Yeah, shout out to that guy.
I haven't had that. I
grew some of that Sherberry pie we mentioned earlier.
Sherberry pie.
Yeah, he grew some of that. I want to say like 2 years ago or something like that.
Wow.
That was the one where his beard is like
his logo.
It's like his. But yeah, that's hilarious. His beard is a bunch of nugs.
He's just like a small time guy, just growing pot.
I mean,
you know, and he grows some great weed.
He's growing.
I love it. Small time growers who perfect their craft and put in the work and put out fire.
And that strain is pretty good. If you like lemon tree, or you're a fan of that.
Yeah,
like
real sure. That's like the most updated lemon terp profile that I've had. That I'm like, all right, this is exotic. Like,
did you try any of the Basio Limon?
I haven't yet, but I gotta try that.
All right, man, we got to figure that out next.
Because I got.
You got some of that?
Yeah, I mean, I got some of that. That's the
we're on the
lemon.
Zito, we're on the Kamikaze. I'm rolling the Blue Nerds up.
That's
the whole catalog.
I mean, honestly, if you don't know about Chirp Money and all this, I mean, we're seeing some crazy flavors right now. You know, I sit down with a lot of growers. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I don't see half as many flavors as far as like tens, like nines, tens. You know, I see a lot of this is interesting.
They might have a hit. They might have 1 or 2 hits. Yes,
it's difficult to find. I mean, any good grower to get in this lineup and be able to be mess with these strains, like you were talking about Karma earlier, and I mean, any grower to get in the mix with you and to be able to grow some of these, it's an instant. You're instant on. Like someone just put you 100%. On, bro. You went from 0 to 100. Like you're gassing up,
and that's what I've been doing for years now. You know, I've been collecting just good genetics and just working with a close amount of breeders and growers, you know, like, and
I mean, that's
and
huge.
Even to this day, you know, I got some people who tell me, oh, you don't grow. And it's like,
doesn't matter.
You know, to be honest, I feel like I've already earned my stripes.
A puzzle takes a bunch of pieces to make an image.
I already did my watering days.
Yeah.
I was from the days where we didn't have no, you know, all these fancy pumps and this. We didn't have no dab pumps. We didn't have this. We didn't have that in the grows.
When I'm going to war, I want a couple people doing a bunch of different things. I don't want everyone doing, and it's the same with growing. We're going to war. We're going to beat this crop. We're going to make sure this, like, I want everybody playing their position. You know, you don't want a bunch of people doing the same thing.
So my response to them is like, man, like I already did I already put in my work. Like,
you found your niche though. This is what you do.
And this day in age, I more so concentrate on my brand.
Yep.
And I work with a few set of close growers that I've been working with some for years from the beginning. And, you know,
you get them genetics and make sure
I give them my genetics and I make sure they kind of, you know,
that's huge.
They run with it. And of course, with this being, you know, you have to have a huge amount of trust.
Yep.
It has to be somebody you really trust. Cause you know, I have been offered, you know, crazy amounts of numbers. I have been offered big deals. I have been offered by some big companies.
And then flip that coin. I'm sure you've also been fucked over for some strains. You've lost some things.
Well, this is what's leading me to that is like, you know, I've been offered some crazy numbers from my genetics. Hey, you know, we'll give you, I'm talking about, you know, large numbers, like big companies. And I'm like, yo, like, that's when I know I got something.
Last couple of years, I just started. I've heard it before, but now it's getting prevalent where you hear like,
100%.
you know, 5, 10K, 15K, you know, you start to hear
100%.
like it's happening a lot now.
But at the same time, I feel like as a grower and as a breeder, as a genetic holder in general, I feel like you really, really gotta read out and look out your options, because what's your worth to you?
What's rare?
What's your value? What are you when you have your cuts in something that only you have? It's what do you think you're worth at the time? You know, because like you might think your worth is your cut worth, for example, I don't know, $20,000. Somebody gives you $20,000. To some people, you might say, some people might hear that and be like, what, for a cut? Yeah, I'll take that now.
Yep.
But what if you're onto something?
Yes.
What if you can make something out of that?
It's an interesting
more
coin.
than likely worth a lot more than that 20K, you know?
Definitely.
So I think that's what's kind of led me to where I'm at, is because I've had some great deals offered and everything, but at the same time, I kind of know I got some special stuff, you know?
And then I've also heard people flip the other side of that and say,
you
get your strain out though, and that's the ultimate release for your brand.
No, 100%.
So now you got 100 different growers all over the world growing Sherb Moneys, Blue Nerds.
I'm not gonna throw nobody under the bus or anything like that.
Yeah.
But you know, I've gone into some deals with some big companies, and you know, been promised a lot of, you know, like a lot of fake promises, and
sounds like the cannabis industry.
No, well, that's what I'm saying.
Pretty much,
you know,
right?
and
This guy
really?
could go on. That's a whole other episode.
yeah, we could do part 2 of this with just that statement.
You know, so like I've you know, I have been screwed over 100%.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
given genetics to companies, and
Ducking and diving.
they'll change the name on me, and you know, because
run with it, make it a hit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they'll change
build a brand off
because
of it.
with in this day and age, all they have to do is like change the name in the system,
and then they build their brand off your strain.
And all you have to do is change the name in the license system and
metric.
Exactly, in the metric system, and it's a whole new strain.
Oh man!
You know
Shout out horrible system called Metric.
Yeah, one of the slowest systems. If you can get a something to go through without it being out of commission
for growers by non-growers. Yeah, no, it's definitely. I mean, they just need to sit down with some growers and get it all hammered out, and that's the biggest thing in the industry right now. And this is like, there's so many people involved in it that aren't either involved with growers or have nothing to do with growers, but are making products for the industry or for growers. And I'm seeing a lot of that, and Metric's one of them. But I mean. I love where this market's going, though. I mean, what you're doing here with this stuff is awesome, and I love that every strain I've seen is a 10 or a 9 or a 10 or a 9.
Yeah, no, 100%. I focused on high quality and unique high quality, and you know,
flavors.
And a big important thing is
you got a menu.
I think I test everything myself. I want to say, like, anything that comes through here, I test myself. So as far as I think what people like is. You know,
tell us about them little seeds that might try to make it through, man. Tell what we were talking about earlier. I asked them earlier. I was asking Sherb Money. I was the gelato. I was asking him. I said, if you ever find any seeds, you know, you shoot them my way. You know, if you ever see anything slip through. And he was just being super legit with me, and it was explaining that. I mean, tell him that like you basically you'll give seeds back to the growers, or you'll dispose of them. You don't let them get past you.
I do try out a lot of like new strains, and if you're familiar, if you're familiar with breeding, if you're familiar with pheno hunting, if you're familiar with any type of growing, like, you know that sometimes
trial and error with new strains. I mean, all kinds of stuff. New rooms. You know, landlord had to come through at day 50 because he was I mean, you never know.
Exactly. So man, it's just crazy. And
but that's legit to you.
I find a lot of people bring me their new projects and to test out, and and with that being said, like, you know, when you got a new strain, you got to stabilize it, you got to run it, you got to, you know, you can't just, you know, in my opinion, you're kind of janky if you're just out here growing strains and releasing them into the market and stuff.
But someone's got to test it, you're saying. Someone's got to trial that thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. Somebody has to test it, but
you're protecting the grower.
But what I do is, you know, a lot of people give them to, you know, we test a lot of the new stuff, me and a couple like buddies, like, you know, if you're really in the cannabis industry, like,
hands on.
Shout out to Doja, shout out to all these guys out here.
Okay. So you guys do a little powwow?
Yeah, like, you know, people like that, like, you get some of the, you know, bigger names.
Some connoisseurs.
Like, some real connoisseurs.
Give you that feedback.
Like, give me that feedback. So you might get some little test bags here and there, but you might find some seeds, but you don't want to go out and release those to people. Like,
I mean, that's big of you though. As a grower,
I either offer them back to the breeder or just dispose of them or something.
That's dope though.
I might tuck one or two for myself.
Yeah. I mean, that rainy day when you're 50 or 60 and you want to,
and I want to smoke some of my homie strain again. I might bring it out.
Because I mean, I've given away seeds back in the day that I'm like, God, why did I do that? And so now like, oh, let me just stick those back in the corner for a while.
You might do that, and then who knows? Your buddy might lose his strain in 2-3 years, and he might be sad one day, and you might save his ass. So
see, and it goes from a thing where he'd be mad to a thing he's so stoked about.
Yeah.
I've had to give strains or traded for strains where I really didn't want to make the trade, and then I ended up losing the strain and had to ask the person back that I actually 100%. Didn't want to give the cut to. Hey, you think I get that cut back? And I was like, wow, how crazy did that work out?
100%. My blue sherbet, as I mentioned earlier, like I lost that for like 2 years. And finally I found somebody growing it, and
you're like, hey, motherfucker.
I can visually tell my plant without even having seen the flower. I could just see the plant in veg, and I was like,
and you knew.
I was like, that's my plant. And I told him, he's like, yeah, it's blue sherbet, and I
You're
shout
like,
out
yes,
to that guy. He gave it back to me.
Oh, so wow. Shout out him then.
I was able to get my cut back, and
you gave it right back.
Be on the lookout. Right. We're bringing it back. Blue sherbet.
I mean, damn, that's huge of him. He gave it right back to you. That's awesome, man. No, shout out to that grower too to give it back to the source.
Also, I have lost strains, and
that you're looking for back.
I'm not gonna name any names, but fuck you for keeping my strain. And I've had strains.
He'll be listening.
I have had strains been withheld from me, like that I've lost and gave it to somebody. And then I've ended up gone, I've had sour relationships.
Give sure money is strains back, man. Gelato Kid, come on.
We're going to put a reward out.
And
I know, right? Nah, but I know what that's like.
Like this, it's just part of this,
the grower's path is like that. It's a lot of loss along the way. And I mean, I have strains along the way I've even killed and been like, why did I kill that? I can't believe I killed that.
Yes, you always have those ones that get away.
Yeah, it is. It's like that. I mean, but the stuff, fast forward to now, I'm looking at 9s and 10s. And so you always go back to that, right? I always linger on the few I lost, but I'm looking at the strains you're rocking now, and I'm like, this is insane. This lineup's, for any grower right here, this lineup is killer. I mean, and then Karma, to think that Karma's using some of these, and I'm after those seeds now.
Yeah, no, he definitely is, and he got some heat he's working on. Believe me.
I love that, man. I just did my first breeding project that we culminated after 2 years. I did a collab with Raw Genetics, and I'm learning all that whole process. So it's what goes into it is so important. If you put fire with fire, you're gonna get fire. Yeah, and to see that this is the other side of what went into his project is pretty 100%. Crazy.
I actually did a collab with Karma Genetics, and it was
talk about like what's up with that.
That was I believe you can possibly find it at they have a store here in Hollywood. It's the Kind Center, I believe.
Okay.
And you can probably actually go in there, and they sometimes carry it. It's called the Sweets.
The Sweets.
Yeah, and it's gelati. I actually had a gelati cut from my
beautiful strain.
One of the
I love gelati.
In my opinion, fire. One of the best strains in the game right now, in the top 10, 100%.
Yep.
And it's
very different. Gassy,
and it's actually
funky.
My cousin is actually Mr. Gelati, who's the originator of like that strain.
Oh man, that's epic. So badass strainy bread.
So he actually gifted.
Shout out Mr. Gelati.
So he actually gifted me that cut. I want to say a couple years back, and I gave it to Karma, and
oh wow,
we kind of
big moves.
But see that will let you know and give you a little input as to how.
That's a big layup.
How long things take though, because that was, I want to say 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I want to say that was released maybe like 6 months ago. So,
yeah. Yep.
A lot of work does go into strains.
And that's a professional doing it.
Yeah.
Quick work.
100%.
Real situation.
A lifetime professional.
Yeah.
So that's like as quick as it could probably go, honestly.
And
but to think that's what went in there, that's amazing. He's getting strains from basically around the world right now. He's sourcing product. Like,
so what we did is, I think he hit it with his he has an original like sour diesel.
Yep.
And that's what we hit it with, the gelati with the sour diesel.
Oh man.
And it actually, if you know gelati, it already got that gassy, crazy terp. So imagine it with the sour. It's just
New York's about to go crazy.
It throws down too. It's like huge, like baseball size.
Yeah. So imagine that with the sour, and It depends, like
basically like OG gas with like gelato gas. I mean, it's very exotic and different. I mean, it's hard to explain.
So that with the sour diesel and everything is just,
oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, they brought me the testers, the first testers like about a year ago.
What are they calling it?
It's the sweets.
The sweets.
And what that is,
I think I bought these seeds.
I was gonna say, I think the seeds,
I know I can see them in my mind.
I want to say, he released.
Yeah, I can picture them in my hand.
Yeah,
I think I saw them.
The seeds were released, and
yes,
I want to say, obviously, if you know Karma, he doesn't do like huge drops.
No.
So,
and a lot of it's international. It's hard, like he's in the States, but I mean, it's not easy for us.
Yeah, he's a worldwide renowned.
Everyone's
breeder.
after it.
Like you got people in Spain growing Karma genetic stuff.
I mean, look, he's sourcing some of the best strains from California that I've seen in a while. And he's mixing them with stuff he's had for 20 years. Like you're saying, the sour diesel cutter for 15 years. So, I mean, that's what you want in your breeder.
The originals time, the latest and greatest.
Yeah. So that's kind of
what you want.
That's kind of what,
I mean, that's the most, like, that's what I want to be as a breeder. I mean, that's what he's doing. That's amazing.
That's the way to embrace.
Yeah, he got
new age.
He got some cool stuff.
Where you came from.
Yep, and see where the market's at.
He also made the head stash, Karma's head stash.
I have like 5 or 10 packs of those still.
That's what I
smoked some of that from summer.
Yeah,
stash.
Yeah.
Is that the same one?
Yeah,
sour, gassy. Yeah. What is it like?
It's
head
different.
stash.
It's funky.
It's
purple,
cherry.
Oh, really? Purpley.
Cherry pie, Girl Scout cookies, and I want to say.
Oh wow.
I can't remember at the moment. I want to say maybe Colorado OG. It's an OG definitely. So it's cherry pie, cookies, and an OG.
That was my favorite out of the summer lineup, to be honest with you.
100%.
Head stash.
That was my favorite.
Karma's head stash.
100%.
They got like a lot of apple fritter crosses. And
apple fritter was a little underwhelming for me, to be honest. I think it breeds out probably pretty decent. But as far as like.
Not my favorite thing.
Well, if you say apple and there's not much apple in there, I'm like, okay, it's still a good strain, but there's no apple. That's why you can't call something, you got to know.
Banana's always kind of a letdown.
Banana's a letdown until you get the extract, but even that,
Yeah.
Hollywood's got some crazy, Thunder? It was like thunder in the middle of Hollywood, but I don't know. Who knows what's going on in Hollywood?
Hit that effect.
Out here in, H-Wood.
Yeah, no, definitely, but yeah.
I mean, the strain game is wild right now. I love to hear though that so Spanibus this next year, right? We've been trying to one of the biggest plans is like, hey, let's go to Spanibus and then go to Amsterdam after. And everyone always goes into the same thing.
Yeah, I was gonna do that.
Don't do it though. The weed sucks. And I'm like,
I'm not here for the weed.
Exactly. I'm here for the experience. My weed. Yeah. And I want to talk to those guys and I want to collaborate with those guys over there. Just like what you're doing now. That's the most epic thing is that you're linking the old with the new.
That's one of the main things people say. Why do you want to go to Amsterdam? The weed
to link with people, to network.
For the weed, I want to see the history. It's a big history. If you're a pothead or you're any type of weed connoisseur or anything you want to. It's a thing.
My biggest dream would be to go and grow. I mean, to be able to walk in some of the OG grows out there, let's say greenhouse or something, and to be able to talk to the grower and maybe collaborate in the future somehow. I mean, come on. And that's this next year. As soon as we get out of this COVID, Spanibus, I think everyone's going to be really wanting to travel.
I had a really bad Spanibus experience. My first time, I went last year, and it was
right before COVID hit or right during.
While I was there when they announced this travel restriction thing. I'm there Yeah, it didn't even go down.
So you flew out there, and then while you're there, they're like, "Hey, by the way, COVID."
I flew out there the week before because obviously I wanted to go, and I know a lot of the people out there in Spain, and a lot of.
It's a big trip.
I got a lot of people out there that just through the Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you talk to breeders, growers, stuff like that. So
it's everybody.
So I'm trying to link up with a few people because it's kind of a connection from the world. You got breeders from Amsterdam there. You got people from here from all over the United States that go there.
It's the international meetup.
Like Moroccan hash maker.
You got everybody there.
Unbelievable.
It's like a real international hub.
I go out there a week early and I'm there. I'm going to all these coffee shops and stuff. And they, I'm kind of just, peeping around.
The news popping on.
And I'm kind of I'm kind of looking around and Yo, the Spain weed game is crazy though.
Like, yeah, right. They got the Cali menu and then the Europe menu. I was gonna
say it's crazy.
It's wild. They don't. Crazy. Yeah, they don't play out there, man. They do a great job of sourcing.
I felt like I was in Cali.
Oh, it's wild. Except for the prices are even 10 times what Cali is.
I'm gonna tell you this. It's crazy to see your own brand on a shelf.
That's
on
dope.
The other side of the world.
Yo, that's really cool.
That's a great feeling.
So you were like, that's my stud. That's me.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh man, that's a dream for a lot of growers. You know, I mean, that's a big checkbox.
You know, to see that was amazing.
That's huge, man.
To see your stuff, and then as I told you earlier, like
you see people smoking on it.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, you're smoking on my stuff, bud.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm looking around at tables, and when you realize one of your strains, one of your bags is one of the thing on the most tables and stuff. You're like, yo, like
the next would be to take some of these blue nerd seeds and make sure that somebody out there's growing some blue nerds.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
epic.
Even some of the Spanish grown weed is like.
How is it? Is it good?
It's pretty good.
I've never smoked local stuff, so
I had some Spanish grown.
So they're growing out there, growing.
I have a buddy out there, Terps Army. I don't know. If you heard of Terps Army.
I mean, come on, man.
That's the homie.
Yeah, they're huge. They're leading
Terps
the charge
Army.
out there. I'd say.
Yeah, Terps Army's definitely.
Shout out Terps Army. I mean, leading the charge in Barcelona.
100%. Like as far as like, I would say.
Coffee shop
in the rosin game and all that stuff. He's killing it.
Brands.
He had to grow. I believe like there was.
They source genetics
at the time. Yeah. What did I try? I tried like some gelato or
Skittles.
Something.
I know they mess with Skittles heavy out there.
100%. So I think it was OZ Kush.
You need some black leaf genetics.
Yeah. I think it was like OZ Kush or something, and it was. But. Shout out to them. It was good weed.
No, man,
I'm not a hater, man. I'll try it.
I love that.
If it looks like good weed, and I'm gonna try it.
Man, I know
people that will only want to smoke their weed.
I knew a guy that used to grow one plant, and it was one plant of blueberry with one light over it, and it came out amazing every run. Right. So small has nothing to do with it. It's just the care and the love. That's so dope.
Yeah, 100%. So,
this right here.
What is that? What are you smoking? You just lit something up.
Skittles or just
no? That's actually Blue Zushi. Shout out to them.
Oh, Team 10.
Yeah, Team 10.
Team 10 kills it. Tenco, man. I mean,
that's a homie of mine.
Skittles times everything.
Yeah,
fire.
That's a good homie of mine. Shout out to him. Like he's a legend in the making as well.
Yeah,
and he's really out here killing it. The Blue Zushi's an amazing strain. I think it's like Skittles and Cushman's.
Yep, Cushman's 11 or something.
Yeah.
Wow. Yellow Zushi, Blue Zushi. I've had a few of them.
He got the whole line.
Fire.
Yellow Zushi, Blue Zushi.
One of my favorite daytime smokes.
Wasabi and
I've had the wasabi.
And then didn't they drop a English muffin or something or
English tea?
English tea.
They got Tenco got all type of strains. They're going crazy right now.
Right?
Yeah, they're going crazy right now too.
All you boys out there are applying pressure.
Yeah, and it's
the branding's really cranking, man.
And in my opinion, it's pretty dope because
flavors.
In my opinion, it's dope because everybody's just absolutely just tearing it up, and it's cool because we're homies.
Hell yeah,
yeah,
cool.
Exactly.
That's my homie. So it's cool to see your boy. It's cool to see your boy killing it.
Absolutely,
yeah.
It's a good feeling to see somebody that you were out here. Riding around smoking joints, couple years back, and now we're both doing what we were talking about, a couple years back.
Most important part about life, to be honest.
It's one of the most rewarding things you can do.
Like visualize on the win and then meeting it there.
So it's a good it's a
being
good
present
feeling.
when it happens.
Yeah, that Blue Zushi smoking though,
bro. That's why I asked because I'm looking at the ash and it's just soft, like the way it just like melts away.
Skittles
the
is
way
soft.
They really take care of that part of the process. Like they're just
with
that. Like
he takes a big pride. He takes a big pride in his ash. The whole tank. You seen their bags? They got the little ash.
That's one of the first things when we came out here, we were like, yo, one of the biggest things we could tell is if it's burning black. It's trash.
I mean, we were talking about that in Florida. We've been talking that since we linked up. Was like ash color, and he used to say to me, man, I can hold the smoke in. I can really just past, it's a clean taste. I think just
in the past year or two, the consumer and everybody has really.
It's a bold statement.
Nowadays, the whole white ash thing is it's crazy. It's right now.
It's a big debate.
I mean, me myself about 10 years ago, I used to have this older homie that was my neighbor, and we used to smoke with him. And I never even knew his name. He told me call him Rasta.
Okay.
I never even knew his name.
Hey.
But he would tell me, he's like, nah, man. He's like, good weed doesn't smoke with black ash. He said it smokes white. And so it's
true.
Ever since then, I really paid attention and I started noticing, and it is true,
It makes a
for
difference.
Everybody that says the flush don't matter. It
matters.
It 100% matters.
It matters, and people want to always take it to an extreme, but it makes a difference, man. Like, it's like having rims on the Mercedes. Like, yeah, the Mercedes still rolls and it still does its thing, but when you put rims on it and you finish it off right and you've done your job all the way correctly, it burns to a white ash. And it tastes like it smells. That's 100%. Those two things. If I can hit those two, it got to taste like it smells, and it's got to burn to a white ash. They put it on their bags, though.
Yeah.
That's making a bold statement, because if you have one batch that doesn't hit that mark, you're like, hold on, it's on number 5, not number 1. Like, hold on. And you got everyone taking pictures. But I mean, I love that, because they set their bar and they're like, we're not going to go below that. This is where we're at.
No, the whole
That's
concept,
awesome,
I love that. The whole vision, everything's dope.
It.
So they killed it. 100%.
Well, I mean, when you set your bar and you're like, here's where we are, and we're gonna crush it, and then you just constantly crush it. Like, every batch I've had from them, I'm happy with, and smoke and fire.
Yeah, they got
shout out to them boys, man.
Great stuff,
crushing it.
Yeah,
killing the market right
bomb.
now.
And just like you said in the beginning of the podcast, Skittles is the backbone, and I mean, and everyone's loving it.
So shout out to them. Then talk about the homie.
Shout out to
Third Gen.
I mean, that's the okay. So you want to then trace it back. That's all from NorCal. Skittles is a what? I would venture to say Skittles is a bag seed, and I mean, look what we got from it. Some phenomenal offshoots.
I think they've done the what about those genotype
the test,
the phylum,
whatever.
They do the genetics.
And they traced it back to a gas station Bob or something great.
Yeah, but,
come on, but
they trace it back to a sunset sherb. They
trace it back to a bag of weed, and there was a little teeny seed in the bottom.
Yeah, no, they do the closest. I think there's one where they do the closest relative plant. So, for example,
okay, what'd they find?
So, for example, if you give them a cookies, it'll show.
I love it.
It shows you all
it's
the
a
background.
3D.
Yeah, it kind of shows you all the background. So, as far as I know, I think they said the Skittles is the closest relative is a sunset sherbet.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense.
That makes sense. I mean, and that's amazing. It's one of my favorite strains.
A different terp profile, though.
Yeah, but
all the shout out in the world, they kept it alive. They branded it. They treated it like the amazing strain it is, and they won a contest.
Whatever it is, it's amazing.
I bet from day one I had it. I was like, these guys are onto something. This is amazing.
Some of the best batches of Skittles.
Yeah,
we got from Greener.
Yeah, from Greener Fields.
Low.
Yeah. Greenhouse or outdoor even
just
basically
the bottom
small
of
nugs.
Fire.
I want to say sweetness, just straight candy,
fire.
I don't care what anyone's back to those when we would catch him at the show.
Pop up at the Skittles.
Shout out to him for showing us love on that every single time he would. But those bags right there were just pure candy. Skittles.
Phenomenal. And I totally remember
now to
that.
see what it comes to evolve from that is going to be.
It makes some of the best hash I've had too. I mean, Skittles hash, even some of these flavors you have in front of us, I'd love to see the hash from this Blue Nerds. I mean,
100%.
This right here, all these would make insane hash.
So the thing about it is
bring BHO back.
I've made hash with a lot of the strains, but I've come to find a lot of these exotic strains, they just don't wash.
Well, and that's the thing. Bring BHO back, because I would pay what people want. If it comes to that and you want them, they want to charge what they do on solventless for something this would be the Blue Nerds, run it as live resin. I think that's the biggest issue right now in the market, is that we lost the live resin boutique. We used to be able to have, you would have 12 different live resin flavors now too. And like I'd be able to try your live resin Blue Nerds, and then I'd be able to try Sure Money Flower Blue Nerds. But like the crazy part is now it's all washes. So if it doesn't wash, then people would rather just not do it. And
that's the crazy thing about the hash.
I miss that.
You know, there might be some strains you really want to smoke and hash. You know, if you're a consumer of hash, if you're, you know, a lot of people these days, I know people who don't even smoke flower.
Yep.
They just smoke hash.
I mean, I'm 50-50 at this point, and I miss all the BHO because I could smoke Blue Nerds. I mean, you could even do small batches where with solventless, it just doesn't make sense sometimes.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
I mean, that's a big gap in our industry right now.
That's why you sometimes see some of your favorite strains and you might never see hash.
100%. I mean,
it might just not be. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
For anybody, as far as the washer, the person washing it, the person growing the flower, it just makes no sense. So.
It's hard to see us getting back to that though, because it is like such a dangerous process. You know, the whole thing about like where we were, you know, versus where we are now in the industry. That like it would be nice to see these small batches come back though, because solventless is taken over and it eliminated everything but garlic cookies and cookies GMO. And cream, and you know the top 4 or 5 that we all see. Thank God for papaya,
strawberry banana.
I love papaya. Yes, strawberry banana. You know,
that was one of your favorites.
I love strawberry banana.
Yeah,
I mean,
I love strawberry banana too.
That was, you know, it's on that Skittles lineup.
The hash is
fire.
Good hash.
I mean, even the flower was decent grown right. You know, had to be on a 10.
I was never a fan of the banana turf.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not gonna lie.
I have a banana terp flower going right now, and I'm probably gonna wash it. I can see the crystals on the bud.
The hash is good. The banana terp hash ain't too bad.
But that's the only way. If it doesn't wash, I gotta kill the strain.
Yeah,
you know, because no one wants the banana flower. They really don't.
No.
Because banana flower in 3 weeks smells like cardboard flower. Mm-hmm. You're like, no, but this is banana. And they're like, yeah, well, it was 3 weeks ago for 3 days when we harvested it.
Straight
but I mean, that's awesome, man. It was awesome listening to all this.
Yeah, no, 100%, man.
What's next for the Sure Money gang?
I mean, I got a few projects going, you know, I got
flavors.
I got a few projects as far as the flower goes. I'm working a lot on the brand right now. We're getting it into the rec market. You know, we're trying to make that next step. You know, like I think that
100%.
that overall, you know, step that everybody should be wanting to take.
The $1 million move,
in my opinion. You know, if you've been in this industry for a few years, if you've been, you know, some of the founding people, you know, are already there. And if you're looking at them, you know, the city of LA kills people with the taxes. Yes, and you know. There's all these taxes and stuff involved. So,
but there's moves. You can have a distro outside.
So 100%. But I still see people succeeding. So it's obvious. It's obviously still worth it. It's still worth it.
100%. It's open.
It's just, you know, it's different because we come from a background where
it's definitely different.
What the hell is a taxes?
Yeah. Oh, not even that. I mean, even there's 100 steps as well with just logging and this, and you can't do that, and that, you know, stuff that normally would make sense doesn't make sense. But in the end, it is like you're saying, it's the next move and
the next step. You got to
for sure money, and for the Return of the Gelato Kid. I mean, that's the big move.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's where we're trying to get. And
it's going down.
So 2022, 2021, we're going to see that?
I'm talking about in the next like 4 or 5 months.
I love it. I love that. So look out for that.
I'm trying to work on
where are you aiming to drop at? What
LA or the Bay?
I mean, to be honest, I'm looking more towards the LA market, but I got to show my home area love. You know, I come from the Bay Area weed scene.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I gotta show them love too. So I kind of just want to take over California, to be honest.
I love it. I
just want to be everywhere, to be honest.
Man.
I think we got good flower. I think I got some amazing flower that should be everywhere, and
crushing collabs. I'm hoping
everybody, and that's another thing. I think everybody out here should be doing collabs and, you know, working with each other and just
100%.
killing it. If you're killing it and they're killing it, I think you should team up and everybody should kill it.
That's the only way to really level up.
In the end, you know, you can't get egos involved in this and that.
Yeah.
Just kind of like,
it's funner when we win together.
Let's try to be like, that's why, and that goes back to how we said about the shows and these weed shows and everything, because everybody's became so distant and so separate. Everybody's doing their own thing.
Yeah,
like
the energy wasn't there.
You got some people that like don't want to do collabs or don't. Yeah, you don't even know this person. Where back in the day it was like you met up at a show, you kicked it for a couple hours,
and we crocked out. We did a huge collab. Next thing you know, we're working on a new strain. I mean that's the foundation of this industry, and we can't lose that.
Nah, we
cannot lose that. I mean, even you, like what you're doing with Karma, and people don't see the work that gets put in behind the scenes. Let's connect this strain with this person. This old time grower is never going to get this. Let me make sure he gets this. Like all that behind the scenes stuff is so important, and people never see that, man. And that's honestly the reason we started this podcast. Was
it's important to get them
100%.
to see it.
I mean, I didn't even know that. And now to know that, I mean, people need to know this.
100%.
That's so dope, man.
Well, shit, man, wrapping up. We had a gangster ass podcast. We appreciate you.
Return of the Gelato Kid.
Collabing and coming through.
Yes, sir.
Making time for us tonight. Man, we pull up, make it happen, man.
This was dope. Black Leaf killing it.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
For years.
Smoking
years and
crazy
years.
flavors.
I've been seeing them doing their thing, flavors. They grow so many flavors. It's hard to even keep track of. I'm sure
wasting space and wasting time.
I was about to say, I'm sure over the years, some good ones, some bad ones.
Oh man,
always
50-50 all the way down the line. Yeah, you know that
100%.
That's what it takes to be where we are right now. Looking at 4 dime piece strains that I'm sure you hunted through a bunch of non-dime piece strains.
100%.
So yeah.
Right. Yes,
man, that's awesome. Well, and this thing's burning white.
I appreciate you guys having me, and do you keep doing your thing?
We're gonna bring a full circle. We're bringing back on Mr. Gelati.
Mr. Gelati next, right?
Yeah, let me know.
And you come back with him.
I'll get him on.
Yeah, we'll run that.
Let's do it.
Let me know.
All right, cool.
Sure money.
Well, shit, until next time, you already know it's first smoke of the day.
Yes,
Any
sir.
last plugs?
No, sir.
All right, Sure Money.
Sure Money. Everybody
Shout
just keep a lookout for that new Sure Money drops. We got merchandise coming. We got all type of crazy stuff
Let's
coming.
get it. Where can they find it at?
I'm actually trying to have a retail store. I'm trying to work on.
I love it.
To drop just merch and stuff like that.
Right now, you got a website?
At the moment, I'm
coming soon.
At the moment, I've been shut down by all type of little like.
That's why you gotta get the website now.
Yeah.
I tried doing the easy thing and going all this third party route, and they all kept shutting me down. Like, you're selling weed merchandise. I'm like, bro, I'm selling shirts.
I got a guy. I'm gonna plug you up. I got somebody that got somebody.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
you already know.
Pack Gods, Black Leaf,
First smoke of the day.
Sure Money. Return of the Gelato Kid.
Let's get it.
Awesome.
Yes,
Peace.
Sir.